the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
2 touchdowns a game?
Yes, in the game.
You're tripping.
Hell yeah. High
Super Bowl time.
I don't know what we're doing in the front office, man.
Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia. That's what she said.
Upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches. What is going on, folks? Welcome back to another Monday night recap. This time we had the Dolphins and the Steelers. Steelers taking an easy dub in the cold by a score of a lot to a little. 28-15 was the final score. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
And I'm the one you love to hate, Malin Dennis.
I'm your other co-host, Jim Buckspade.
It's like the Miami Dolphins. I'm rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell. I'm G-Money.
Oh, yeah. Not a very entertaining game we had on tonight. Not exactly a barn burner up in the cold there, but like I said, 28-15 was the final score. Steelers just, maintaining first in the AFC North and are seemingly in cruise control at this point. But let's kind of get into this game that we had here. So we'll start off over on the Steelers side, where Aaron Rodgers, 23 for 27, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, sacked 3 times. Aaron Rodgers had a pretty good game, spreading the ball around. Hey, man, I thought he looked very good out there in the cold, even at the ripe age of 40-some-odd. However, I think the bigger story for the Steelers was their defense and for the most part, shutting down the Dolphins. And, no T.J. Watt, no problem. And, June, I'll start off with you. What did you think that the Steelers defense did so well, even with T.J. Watt not in the lineup there?
Well, I think the one thing they did well, they let Tua Tagovailoa make all the mistakes, like that first pick he threw. They didn't sit back and try to press and say, we're just going to go get this guy. They did blitz. But what they did was so calculated. They said, we know this guy makes the big mistake. We're going to wait for that opportunity. And that's what they did. That first interception, if you listen to Troy talk about it, he even said that was just a bad pass for him to throw. And like Troy said, he's been making those plays. He's been doing that all season long, just making bad decisions with the football. And that's what the Steelers did. They knew that Tua is going to make the mistake. And so they just let him do that. And so I thought that was smart by them. And then they turned those mistakes, those overthrows, those underthrows, the sacks that he took. I mean, how many times did we see Tua running backwards and lose 15 yards on a play tonight? That was Tua making those type of mistakes. And the Steelers were like, if you want to make those mistakes, we are going to let you. And so I thought that was brilliant by the Steelers defense. So give all the praise to Tomlin and crew.
Yeah. Troy Aikman, he was really on Tua tonight, and really the whole Dolphins offense, but he was not holding back much on Tua's performance. Which, with that in mind, Malin, I'll go to you on this next one, but Troy Aikman kept mentioning it down the stretch. The Dolphins were in no rush in the fourth quarter to try and make up for the hole that they were in. It almost felt as if they were just wanting to let the time run out the clock, and like they just wanted to get up out of there and like, oh, let's not hold this off any longer. What did you think about the way that they kind of handled the clock down the stretch?
Well, first of all, I think Troy was just pissed off that he had to be in Pittsburgh for this game. Like, who the hell scheduled Miami and Pittsburgh and was like, out of all these games we got, like, let's do Miami and Pittsburgh. Like when you were making the schedule, you didn't know Burrow was going to be hurt. Ravens, Bengals, that could have been. I mean, it ended up not being a better game because Bengals got their must be. But Chargers, Chiefs, nobody thought of that one. No one thought about Packers, Broncos, 2 playoff teams for a year ago. Lions, Rams, nobody thought about. Hey, that could be a good matchup. We're like, you know what? Let's stick a team that's never won a game in under 40-degree weather, like G Money has said several times over the last couple of weeks. Let's put him up against Aaron Rodgers to see if he can just freeze to death out there. I mean, he looks like he's 55 right now. He looks exactly the way my dad died when he died of hepatitis C at 56 years. He just looks decrepit at this point.
Oh,
It's
Lord,
it's just bad.
have mercy.
Now let's just go and talk about Miami because we have to, because they were the other team that played in this godforsaken game. Yeah, they were terrible, man. They didn't want to be there, and you could tell that like Troy was just pissed off the whole time. Any little thing he could complain about with Miami the last 5 minutes, he'd be like, "Son of a bitch down there, left guard double knotted his cleat. That son of a bitch double knotted his cleat. Only single knots are allowed would be doing." Like there was one time where Tua took like a 1-yard sack, and he was like, he was a smart quarterback, and he just thrown the ball away. And I'm like, bitch, there's like a minute 28 left. Troy is like, you're gonna get off the air in a couple minutes. Like you can calm down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it was weird because they showed no sense of urgency, and then they score the touchdown, and then they're wanting to try an onside kick, and then they're wanting to use their timeouts because Mike McDaniel's probably like, "Shit, boys, we scored. I guess we got to act like we care now and do something to make it look like we're trying to win a football game." So, I don't know, man. It was just such a boring game. The whole game was boring. It was a snooze fest. I'd rather watched Oregon play JMU right now than watch the Steelers play the
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
No, you're right, because Oregon's gonna whoop the shit out of them.
I mean, but you would watch a replay of the Huskies Boise State game.
Yeah, I would. That was a fun one. That was a fun game. That was exciting.
G-Money,
But I mean,
you had mentioned, obviously you were a big person to harp on the Miami Dolphins playing in cold weather here. How much, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think that the weather played in their offense looking so god awful?
I would say probably 5, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not so much the weather, because if you look at them, that first series, when they faked the run through the tight end, the first 2 plays looked really good. And I started to think, well, wait a minute, maybe the Dolphins might do something here. Then they didn't. But I don't think that has a lot to do with the cold weather so much as, number one, Pittsburgh got embarrassed last week by Baltimore. Baltimore ran 214 yards on them and ran the same offensive running play 8 times in a row and got positive yardage on it. I'm pretty sure that they were watching that film and said, "Hey, no goddamn way in hell the Dolphins are going to run on us." And once you shut down the run game and you force Tua to throw, even in Miami, the man isn't that good of a quarterback. He'll make a couple of really good throws. You look at it and go, "Oh, okay." And then he'll do stupid shit. And you'll go like, "What the hell are you doing?" So did the cold? Yeah, I mean, it sucks being in the cold. Nobody likes playing in the cold. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like playing in the fucking cold. He'll tell you that. He doesn't like it. But you got to do it. And it's a mental thing to a degree, especially when you're going from weather place to where it's like 10 degrees. I mean, you go from, I don't know, what was the temperature down in Miami this week? 60s, 70s, in the 70s.
I think.
Yeah. And you go to where it's 19. Yeah, that affects you a little bit, but you dress. You've got heaters there. it was interesting that Troy said, that after the second series, yeah, not Tour's putting a coat on and keeping his hands warm. Like, yeah, because heaven forbid he can't even hold on to the ball because his hands are frozen. But it's a lot of it's mental because you can dress warm and you can stay warm there. But it's just, I give it a 5 just because it was cold, and even though you get up there and you go out on but you're out in the game, right? So you're moving, you're hitting people. You kind of don't think about the wind, the cold. Now, if you're a kicker and you're just standing on the sidelines, not doing a goddamn thing for like 30 minutes, yeah, that's going to affect you a little bit, and the ball will affect you. But it's a mindset, and you get over that mindset. I mean, hell, they did beat the Jets last week, and it was under 50 degrees. It's just under 40, they can't do it. And that's a mindset. It's a straight up mindset. You look at the temperature and you think, oh my God, it's cold. And you go outside and it's, oh, this is fucking cold. But your bench is heated. You've got heaters there. You've got freaking Sub-Zero Parkers you can wear. And when you get out there, I mean, you start moving.
The one thing that I've always thought was funny is just watching these teams from Florida play in cold weather, just because of the colors of their jerseys, and that like they're from Florida. And it was even better when the Bucks wore the creamsicles back in the day when they were in the NFL Central, and you would just see Steve Young getting pummeled at Lambeau Field in the cold. So when you see the Dolphins in the white and the aqua and the orange and it's 19 degrees, they just look cold. It looked like they're in some meat locker freezer just freezing their ass off. I'll tell you what was bigger than the cold, Jalen. It was the inability for anybody on the Dolphins sideline to be like, "Hey, can we figure out who number 14 is, and can we put a hat on Kenneth Gainwell?" Now, I didn't even know who Kenneth Gainwell was until tonight. I always wondered why DK Metcalf was wearing number 4. I knew somebody had to be 14. I just didn't know he was a running back named Kenneth Gainwell. But he caught 7 passes for 46 yards and ran 13 times for 80 yards. He just moved the ball up and down the field. And it's like Miami didn't even know he existed. It's like they would line up 11 people in Miami. It was like, all right, put a hat on all other 10 people and fuck that guy. He's not going to do anything. It was just hilarious. Like the whole game. They just couldn't stop that, man. It was funny.
Yeah, Johnny Smith caught a touchdown. Hayward caught a touchdown. DK had a great touchdown. I think even MVS had one in there. So my question to you guys is, out of kind of all these receivers, tight ends, who do you think, and even running backs, who do you think is kind of the X factor for the Steelers going into the last few weeks here, and we're gonna assume playoffs too? So,
well, the crazy thing is that you talked about Smith and Hayward. They didn't catch touchdowns. They had rushing touchdowns. Apparently, that was the first time in NFL history that 2 tight ends ran for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Someone deserves a raise after pulling that stat out of their ass at the end of the game to to get Troy to stop bad mouthing the Dolphins and talk about this for a second.
so bad the game was.
They were like, Buck, talk about the Pittsburgh tight ends, man. Troy's getting unhinged. Honestly, I think it's going to be the running game of Pittsburgh down the stretch that is going to set the motion for Aaron Rodgers not to get his ass kicked and be able to play off that play action a little bit more. Because Warren and Gainwell, they Gainwell had like a 6-point average, but you still need to spell Warren in there. But I'd be throwing Gainwell out there a lot more than just 13 carries. Do your little tush push with your tight ends when it's goal to goal or whatever. But it doesn't really matter who Aaron Rodgers throws the ball to, as long as they catch the ball. Otherwise, they're going to have Grandpa Rodgers like mean mugging the shit out of them and being angry if they don't catch a pass, even if he throws it bad. But here we are, man. We did not think Pittsburgh would be in this position. We thought that they would be folding like a wet tent in a storm. And Baltimore would be running away with it right now. And Baltimore's been tripping up, and Pittsburgh is, been doing their thing, and they're still right there.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. When you talk about X Factor, my thought is if people don't pay attention to him, you're going to have issues. And that's Darnell Washington, their other tight end. 6'7",
Big guy. 300
pounds. I know they say he's like 280. There's no fucking way. Maybe the end of training camp he was 265, 270. That boy's like 300 pounds and can move. I can see him being an X factor, especially when you need that short yardage and you're like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and you're not going to run it. And you have MSV maybe does a 15-yard post. You have Metcalf doing a deeper crossing route, and then you have like Gainwell and Freeman doing a couple of things, and then you have him, and he gets lost because people think he's a lineman, and so well, I'm sorry, it's a lineman. You can't. He didn't check in, and then boom. Yeah, well, they put him in there on short yardage too. I mean, but yeah, he should be a lineman, but he's a lineman that can catch.
They did.
So,
they took a picture of Washington in training camp next to Smith and what's the other tight end's name?
Oh, Freiermuth.
Freiermuth,
yeah. Or no, Connor Hayward, I think it was. I was thinking of. They're both 6'3", 250, and he made them look like Muggsy Bogues from like the mid-90s with Charlotte. Like they look like little men compared to that big ass man. How they kept him a tight end is just hilarious.
Well, I think one of the things what we saw tonight, you have to find a way to feed DK Metcalf the ball. That was just a grown man playing against little boys when he ran that touchdown. Okay. And I think you want to X factor. You come into these last few weeks, really, DK Metcalf has not been heard from that much this season. We haven't heard those moments from him. And I think they need to get those moments from him. Now that you're headed to the playoffs, now it's the end of the season. You're trying to make that playoff push. This is the time where I want to see Rodgers really getting him the ball, really showing what this guy can do for himself, and giving him that confidence that you're going to come to him in those moments, because that's why you brought DK Metcalf to the Steelers, is to have those moments. It's to have moments like this late in the season into the playoffs to get you a deep postseason run. You need a DK Metcalf to step up and to be that guy. So this is the time that you do it right now, because I think it's going to hurt you in the long run if you don't get on the same page before the playoffs. So
if that's what they brought him in for, then they didn't know who the hell they were trading for, because he is not that guy. He's like a grown man playing with a bunch of babies because he acts like a baby. The fact that they got rid of Pickens and traded for DK Metcalf, first of all, I'm grateful for it, because we got Eamon Worry, who's just killing the game right now in Seattle. If he didn't miss 4 weeks with an injury at the beginning of the year, he'd be rookie of the year on defense right now. But bar none. But yeah, 52 catches, 750 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I mean, what the hell? I don't know what they were thinking Aaron Rodgers was going to do with DK Metcalf, but he's not on the same level of route running like Devontae Adams or Jordy Nelson. Like, I don't think there's that trust there, because I think that DK relies so much on his freakish athletic ability. Like, he's kind of lazy with his route running and stuff like that, and he still drops balls. So if he's their X factor, then that's going to be a problem.
I mean, he's probably the most explosive person on the offense. That offense is a dink and dunk type of offense. He is he is the most explosive person that they have on the offense. So he has to be the X factor going forward. Because there's nobody else that's going to get you those explosive plays. I'm just saying, I know you're right. You're 100% right.
He ain't that guy. They need him.
But he's all they got. He's all they got.
He's not him, as they say it.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, so the Steelers, they've got Detroit, Cleveland, and then they finish out against, they host the Ravens. And what I understand, they could lose these next two games, and what it really comes down to is just what the Ravens do in that last matchup there. And with that being said, assuming that the Ravens don't drop a game against, I believe they have New England up next, and then Green Bay, and then the Steelers is the last game. Are you guys pretty confident in the Steelers to win this division with that in mind?
I am. I believe that the Detroit game is at Pittsburgh, right? Is it
no? It's at Detroit.
It's at
Detroit.
They're getting cooked inside of Ford Field.
Oh no, Aaron Rodgers used to love that place, so he might feel like he's back in the green and yellow again.
Put a kebab stick up his ass. They about to get roasted.
Well, I feel like this. With that said, if they go into the last game tied, like they go into that last game and they're tied for the division, I give the edge to Baltimore to win it. But if the Steelers win the next two games and Baltimore drops one more game, that's it. That'd be right. That's it. Yeah. So the pressure for me. The pressure right now is on Baltimore because they're still trying to come back.
I think honestly, and this is just wild. I think this again is coming down to this NFL trying to act like they're not scripted yet. We got our fourth division here, to where it's probably going to come down to the last week, and these two teams happen to be playing each other. That's cute. I mean, I could see both of them winning one of the next two. I don't think either of them are a good enough football team to win both. I really don't. I think it'd be great if Myles Garrett murdered Aaron Rodgers on the field to get the record. I think that'd be funny. Just sack him. He's celebrating, and Aaron just don't get up. He's just there. Get the gurney. He's not looking forward to hitting the turf with Myles Garrett hitting his ass. He's not looking forward to that game. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to that last game, and with it being in Pittsburgh, home field advantage. I think that could be one of those times where Lamar Jackson kind of shrinks in those big games. If they win it, I think it'd be more Derrick Henry. But Lamar Jackson, man, when he's in those type of games, winner take all, you're on the road, he doesn't necessarily play his best. So I guess I'd give the nod a little bit to Pittsburgh, which is contradictory of what I've been saying for the last 6 or 7 weeks. But I thought that Baltimore was going to play better the last 6 or 7 weeks, and that Pittsburgh would play worse, and we wouldn't even be in this position. But the NFL knew better because they put them together last week of the season.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and you look at Pittsburgh. Yeah, they're at Detroit. Detroit hasn't been playing well all season. You look at them, you go Pittsburgh could win that game. I'm not saying they will, but they could. Cleveland, well, they've got their defense, but their offense is a shit show. You could see them winning that. And Lamar Jackson is just a shadow of who he was last season. He's nowhere close to what he was last season. I don't know if it's nagging injuries or what it is, but he's just not the same quarterback as he was last year. You could, it's when you look at it, you go, well, they could definitely win all 3 games and roll 11-6 into the playoffs and then for the second round. You could see them going 0-3, and this being Tomlin's first losing season, because you haven't seen a lot from the Steelers to show that they could win the next 3 games. You haven't seen enough from the Steelers to show they could win any of those 3 games. Because if you look at their record and what they've done, it's like, okay, so you guys, you beat Baltimore, you beat Miami, but you lost to Buffalo and Chicago. You beat Cincinnati, but you lost to the Chargers. You lost to Green Bay. You lost to Cincinnati. And of course, you lost to us. But it's just, you look at it and you go like, you're not there's not consistency there. You don't have a consistent run game. And Aaron Rodgers at times has shown that he's inconsistent. I mean, it's just lucky that he went against the Dolphins and they decided that they didn't really want to play any pass defense.
This season is setting up perfectly for, like, this is the perfect year for Josh Allen to go to a Super Bowl.
That's what I was just about to mention.
If Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes aren't in it, and you're looking at Bo Nix and Herbert and Aaron Rodgers and
Drake May.
Even Drake May. I love what New England's been doing this year, but I did say a couple weeks ago that I think that they're like 1 year off, just because of inexperience in the playoffs. I think I would take Buffalo if they had to play in New England again, especially if they have the refs help like they did this last game. But I mean, this is just such a weird year, Jalen. I can't even tell you who like the MVP favorite is this year. I don't like. Is there a favorite for the? I have no idea who it is. I don't know who Vegas is like. That's the MVP now.
Matthew Stafford.
Is it Stafford?
Mm-hmm.
It's Stafford.
It's Stafford.
Hopefully he's not the MVP favorite after Thursday.
If in the AFC, like the only 2 like kind of household names, I guess you could say, quarterbacks are going to be in the playoffs are Josh Allen and weirdly Aaron Rodgers. So it's like if the Bills don't come out of the AFC this year, I mean, come on,
what do you do?
Blow it up.
They're not coming out.
They're the only 2 I think that would even have a quarterback that's won in the playoffs. If the playoffs started right. No, because didn't Trevor Lawrence beat the Trevor Lawrence?
They beat Chargers
in that weird ass.
Yeah. That was one where the Chargers were ahead, 31-3 at half, and then
Jacksonville came storming back. Like he's won one, but yeah, man, it's just I don't know. It's the perfect year for him to do it. And if he has more games like what he did against New England and the other 6 touchdowns, like I don't think it's far fetched that Josh Allen catches Stafford in the MVP race. To be honest with you, if he keeps playing like this, like I don't think they'll catch New England for the division, but
no.
All right. Well, that will do it for this one. We'll be back here on Wednesday for the full show. I was really hoping we would have our resident Dolphin fan in for this game, but we'll see him on Wednesday. We'll see him in a couple days.
He finished off a bottle of tequila and he's passed out underneath his desk now.
He's naked with some.
With that being said, we will see you all on Wednesday evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So have a good night, everybody, and peace out.
Peace out.